Welcome to the webinar on RF and feature wireless communication. I would like to introduce our resource person, Mr. Alagarasan Chinnadurai. Mr. Alagarasan Chinnadurai received his BE in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Government College of Engineering, Bargur, University of Madras, and received his ME in Communication Systems from Tyagarajar College of Engineering, Madurai, Anna University, in the year of 2001 and 6 respectively. He is currently working as Staff RF Engineering Manager at Qualcomm, California, United States, with 12 years of experience in design, development, and integration of RF and wireless modules and systems for various applications, which includes telecommunication, industrial, and automotive. He also worked in Larsen and Toubro Integrated Engineering Services, Astra Microwave Products Limited, Anna Teresa College of Engineering. He authored papers in reputed journals and international and national conferences. So I welcome you, Mr. Alagarasan Chinnadurai. So I would like to hand over the session to Mr. Alagarasan to enrich the webinar towards RF and feature wireless communication from the industry aspect. Thank you, one and all. Mr. Alagarasan.
Yeah, thank you, Ramesh.
Welcome, Mr. Alagarasan.
Yeah, I'm just bringing up my presentation. It's a great privilege to be part of this session. Hope it will be fruitful.
Welcome.
So you guys could able to see the slide deck?
Exactly. We are viewing.
Okay. Let me get started then.
Yes, please.
So I have like agenda for today. Just we will go over RF and microwave, difference between RF and analog design, what we actually do to make a system. If we make a RF system, what we do differently than what we do for analog design. And also I'll touch base on wired versus wireless, why we need wireless in this scenario, and some of the wireless network applications. These applications, many of the applications we have day in, day out. I would say like hour in, hour out. We cannot even imagine without wireless in a day-to-day life. So I'll touch base on various wireless network applications, and then I'll go over on simulation tools which you guys have handy in your lab, and then this is like extending what you have, and you can launch yourself to future using your simulation tool which is currently there in the lab. So we will talk about that, and then I'll show some of the snapshots on simulation tools, and then some applications for same wireless, but it's for military applications. So I'll explain you one of the radar system here, and then we will conclude from there. So the first one, as I said, RF versus microwave. When I was preparing this slide decks, I was like very clear. Any theory or any theoretical knowledge can be acquired from the books or from Wikipedia or from the lessons, or you have like POSAR in your syllabus. So most of them might be covered, but my intention is like provide some basics. Then I'll not spend much time on this, but I'll touch base on some of the fundamental key things, and then we will move forward from there. So defining RF, so like RF is like defined, when we say like an RF engineer, it is like any product which been made from 3 megahertz to 1 gig, or I would say 1000 megahertz, is defined as RF. And then communication methodology, which uses free space and it uses the medium to transfer data between devices. It could be like a transfer from one transceiver to another transceiver. And RF is like a subset of analog circuit design. For example, if you had acquired circuit design, circuit theory, those knowledge will be applicable in RF design as well. And you know, like electromagnetic spectrum, and this is starts from, as I said, from 3 megahertz, and it goes all the way till 1 gig, which we define as RF. And one interesting thing is, like, many of this are we are using day in day out, but we may not be paying much attention to it. One example is like FM receiver. As you guys know, like, it starts working at the frequency range is 88 megahertz to 108 megahertz. So we'll be tuning this when we are within the city. And this FM receiver, we think like this is a old technology, and then it's not been used with cell phones having so many other iTunes kind of things in the phone. But still, I will give you an example of FM receiver. If you notice, there are cars and then so many vehicles which were made before 2000 will not have a USB player or any latest player as such. So what they are doing is like there are companies which make FM transmitter. Means if you see in the car, there will be a power supply, like a 12 volts power supply portal. You can plug in that, and you can play songs from USB. From USB, it goes to the FM transmitter. They make transmitter in that plugin. From transmitter, it goes to the car FM receiver. So still there are applications using this, and there are many of them. Like we know, like cell phone, and then GPS, personal communication systems, Bluetooth, wireless LAN. So there are many applications which get extended in electromagnetic spectrum, and the spectrum gets crowded day in, day out. This one is like, if you had seen in the lab, you have spectrum analyzer, network analyzer, and then power meters, and there will be a characteristics impedance. And all the instruments which we use for RF systems have a characteristic impedance of standard 50 ohm. The reason is like, if you see this curve, this is the curve for power handling capabilities, peaks at 30 ohms. So if you have impedance of 30 ohms, it is great for power handling. Like it can handle kilowatts, megawatts of power when we use this for this application. Like when 30 ohm impedance is used, it's for power handling. And when we have 77 ohms, it is for low attenuation. Attenuation is like a loss. So we want something trade-off between power handling and attenuation. That's the reason we have like a standard 50 ohm. Any instrument, if you are not observed before, you could see this. This is a 50 ohm standard impedance will be used across the globe. And these are some of the RF and microwave applications. The first one is like RFID tag. This is very common. Like we use day on, day out in schools, colleges, offices, even in libraries. So this is basically a tag, and there will be a reader. So when you get inside a library, then you need to swipe it. So it works in 13.56 megahertz, and the reader is like UHF band, and FM, which is like the one I defined in the electromagnetic spectrum. Then mobile phones, base stations. When we talk about mobile phones, the power handled by mobile phones are lower, but the power transmitted from base stations are higher. So we will have a different design approach while designing the mobile phone and while designing the base station. And wind profile radar, this is one of example. Like wind profile radar is like it's located near Tirupati, where they have wind profile radar installed, and they will be studying the wind pattern. This is based on the reflections and how they will be transmitting a waveform, and then it will be reflected back based on how the wind profile is. So they will do a post processing, and then they'll come up with what is the wind right now and how much speed it is, and then what to expect from there. And GPS is like it's been part of our phone. And then Internet of Things, wireless charging. So this is becoming very popular nowadays. People are getting excited about it. On the flip side, like people are lazy as well. Like they don't want to go to the charger, plug in, and then charge your phone. Instead, if you just drop off, then it's wirelessly charging at home and then wirelessly charging at in the automobile, like while you drive in the car or the van. So this is one more, and the last one is like Wi-Fi. So this Wi-Fi today we are with Wi-Fi 6, which means like Wi-Fi standard, which uses till 6 gig, and then it can transmit in gigabytes speed. So that's the latest Wi-Fi we have. These are some of the applications. There are many, but I listed just few for discussion purpose. The next one is like the equipments. Then I got a list from Ramesh, some of the equipments you guys are having. I would say like it is absolutely equivalent to what we have in our office. So you guys have a combined network analyzer and spectrum analyzer. And then this power sensor is basically if you are measuring a power, output power from a transmitter, the spectrum analyzer will have some accuracy issue, but the power sensor and power meter will provide more. For example, you are using spectrum analyzer, you are measuring 30 dBm, and when we use power meter and power sensor, it may be 30.2. So that's the reason. And then we also have signal generators. The reason I have a Tesla Model X car here is like the price is equivalent to what you guys have in your lab. So I just want to bring it up. Like if you have a spectrum analyzer and network analyzer, it is so like you can make a life out of it. Um, so thing is like this is being in the lab, and then the hours you put on with this instrument, it can make a life out of it, as I said. And I'll explain why down the line. There are futures. Um, Personally, like with the simulation tool and with these instruments in the lab, you can make a big difference in your life if you want to pursue in RF domain or wireless domain. Sorry. Yeah, next one is RF versus analog. These are some of the RF system considerations. When we do system design, for example, somebody is asking me, can you transmit something and then receive something? Then my first question will be like, what frequency you are targeting at? Then we need to look into what are all the frequencies available for us. Anybody, for students like you, there is an ISM band 2.4 gig to 2.484 gig, which is like a 84 megahertz bandwidth can be used to design any RF system, and can be used real time. Only thing is like there is some power restrictions on each countries. For example, India we can use plus 30 dBm. In United States it's plus 14 dBm. So there are some restrictions. But when we, for example, if you are starting an RF system consideration, phase shift, reactance, losses, reflection, nonlinearity, radiation, and then capacity coupling and noise. These are some of the parameters which you might need to consider to accommodate in your system consideration. I know I'm talking to the bachelors, but since you guys have simulation tool, you don't need to practically make a system, but you can make a system using your simulation tool to start with. You can make a generator, you can make an analyzer, you can make filter. You can do like millions of things using simulation tool. That will give you like tons of confidence to move forward, and then you will find the design cycle. Okay, if I need a transceiver, then how to design it. If you learn, then then you will learn how to implement it. Once you implement, then you will learn how to test it, and then once you test it, then you will learn how to make a product out of it. This is one of the interesting slide I made. So just I took one example how we are having this butterfly effect. For a person, for example, people like us, we need some high-end camera, which is like the camera should be perfect, and then when we take picture, it should able to differentiate between day and night, or it should have night mode, and then it should have clarity, it should have portrait mode, all those. So people are like addicted to this, so that the companies are um, they want to make a camera. So you can list any companies. We don't rely on camera specific companies like Sony or any other camera. Instead, we rely on our phones. So it puts so much pressure on the phone makers like iPhone, Samsung, Oppo, Vivo, whoever you call for. So somebody says like I have a camera which can have a night mode, then it puts pressure on other companies to make such a technology. So that's a wide. This is wide, ultra wide camera night. This is the latest iPhone 12. Then what happens is like you have the best camera in the world with your phone. Then when you take pictures, then it becomes like a high definition images. The image which were in kilohertz become in megahertz. Then for example, a portrait picture is like a 6 meg. Then you need storage. So then what you do is like when you buy phone, then instead of buying for 64 gig, you might end up in 128 or 256. Then you need storage. When you have that phone for 1 or 2 years, and then you have a habit of taking more videos and then more pictures, then you run out of storage in your phone. Then you ended up sharing them in the cloud. That's where IBM, Amazon, Google comes into picture. Then you want to share in the cloud. You cannot share directly. Then you need cloud needs connectivity. So from phone, you need connectivity. That connectivity is like it could be your cell phone network, which will be like a LTE 5 gig, 4 gig, 3 gig, whichever you have, or Wi-Fi. It could be Wi-Fi 6 gig, Wi-Fi 5 or Wi-Fi 6. So to make this one function, then you need spectrum. Like okay, now I want my image to be loaded into the cloud storage, and then for that I need connectivity. For connectivity needs spectrum. This is like the electromagnetic spectrum. This is being shared across the world globally, so we need to be mindful of how we get to this. And then there are organizations which puts across various various use case scenarios, so they come up with this spectrum. Once you have the spectrum, then you need innovators, researchers, and engineers. So this is one small example which goes through the butterfly effect. Then they look for innovators, engineers, and researchers. For example, a person who wants to do something with the camera, his interest is just camera. So then cycle after cycle, you will have so many design changes. So every year there is a new phone. Every year there is a new camera. Yeah, I can list so many things in your phone. Like there is a camera, there is a scanner, then there is GPS, then there is a Bluetooth, then there is a display, then there is a panel, then antenna design. So there are tons of opportunities available, but in the walk of life, we don't pay attention to all of those. So for example, if somebody wants to do one simple thing in a very deep dive manner, he could be an antenna designer, and he can design it. And just for discussion purpose, to make a product like a company like Apple, it takes like 1,37,000 people to make a product like iPad, iPhone. This is just an example. Other than that, Apple relies on manufacturing. Foxconn helps with that. And then Apple relies on testing. Foxconn again helps. And then manufacturing. Then Apple relies on Foundry, which is Taiwan. TCMS MC does the fabrication. So this is like you guys are in a sweet spot. It's up to you guys to make a life out of it. It can be anything like a hardware designer, or once you are once you have a product, then you need software designers to design. For example, when I have the camera turned on, then the camera detects whether it is a day or night, and depend on that it will automatically adjust us. Those kind of control comes from the firmware or software. So this is like, I would say, 1 in 10th, but there are many companies. Like each box have many companies and many opportunities. I'm not talking about the image shared in for example, social media like Instagram or Facebook or WhatsApp. So that's also like another, even though we use it day in day out, but we will not think like how a product is made out of it. Why we want thousands of people to work on WhatsApp app to make it more secured, more encrypted, um, those kind of things. So that's the reason I added this slide. Next one is like the next one, wired versus wireless. If you consider wired versus wireless, for example, think about a windmill which is being placed, and then you want to find the speed of the wind based on the rotations. So if you want to measure the speed, then you might put a sensor there, and imagine the windmill is placed above 100 meters from the ground floor. Then then routing 100 meters of wire and then connecting to a instrument is like, it's like so tedious. Instead of that, if I have a sensor which can sense the wind, and then if it can wirelessly send the details to the communicator, then it will be like a minute job. So that's why wireless becomes so key and important. And here I quoted the Moore's law. Anything built using silicon chips will become exponentially less expensive over time. This is what we are seeing with computers, with the laptops, with the phones, with the camera. The price, they keep on adding the features, but price is like still, it's manageable. So that's what this law says. And we have security, and then there is architecture, and there is flexibility when we go with wireless. And then a deployment is like one time. Once you establish wireless communication once, and it works forever. And when there is some mechanical movements, then wireless becomes so easy. Just imagine like taking off of like a planes in the Chennai airport. Since we have wireless communication, so we could easily navigate for the planes to take off and landing. We could communicate. If wireless is not there, then um, taking off and landing becomes so complex. So this is what I want you guys to think, like day in day out. If you use a technology and then you use it, maybe you can spend some time in discussing about it. Okay, I have this Bluetooth. What happens? What frequency it works? How many person I can contact? What happens to my RSSI? How the link budget is calculated? You can link to all the topics in your syllabus. How the antenna is designed, and then what is the gain of the antenna? Which simulation tool is used? Which material is used, and then how the measurements are done. So it is as interesting as other topics which makes you happy. Next one is a wireless sensor application. Um, hey Ramesh.
Available, Mr. Alagarasan. It's
Yeah,
visible.
yeah. So everything is fine, right? So far.
It's going normal. We can go ahead as per your
Yeah, yeah.
progress.
Okay, I'm just keeping a watch on my phone
Yeah.
to make sure that we are on time. Okay, thank you.
Yes. We have ample time.
Okay. Yeah, the next one is like wireless sensor application. As I told, these are like if I have like 4 5 engineers, we can make a product in 1 month time. I'll explain you how. So we can pick any sensor. This sensor can be a pressure, or it can monitor pressure, or it can monitor temperature, or it can monitor lightning, or it can monitor water. It is a simple transducer. So there is a sensor. So this sensor senses and provides some signal. Then we will do a signal conditioning for that sensor. Then that conditioned signal will be provided to a SoC. SoC is like a system on chip. There are many semiconductor companies like TI, Microchip, Hittite, Qualcomm, Broadcom, MediaTek. So there are so many companies which make system on chip. So if you just Google around, and you will find so many system on chip which works at a 2.4 gig, which is ISM band. So this is one of the examples, CC2510. So what is the CC2510 is like a transceiver which uses like plus 1 dBm and then programmable from minus 55 to plus 1 dBm. So what the CC2510 does is like it receives a signal and then it transmits, and then also it receives from antenna and then we can post process it. So when I say transceiver, it can do both transmitter as well as receiver. So for a design engineer, already TI made this CC2510. They will also come up with some recommendation saying that this is the um, this is the layout guidance you need to use, things like that. Then we have like RF analog front end model. The front end model will have power amplifier and LNA. Hope you guys covered that in your syllabus. And then we have antenna to transmit and receive. This is like a simple method. For example, imagine, maybe I'll go to the next one. So imagine a automatic meter reading. Each of us have meters in our home. We consume power for every month, and then we'll be waiting for the people from TNEB to mark the meter and then do calculate out of it. And during the COVID situation, there were so many topics like they calculated based on 4 months, and then bills were higher. People were like panicked, right? In a crisis time, imagine like if we have an automatic meter reading. This is our home. Then I have a energy meter. Energy meter is connected to energy meter interface. So what this interface does is like it takes the input from the meter. For example, the meter says 275.6 watts. So that one it reads, and then the meter reading is sent to the RF SoC chip. So SoC chip can be any chip. If you Google around, you can find a chip for $1 or maybe less than 100 rupees. So you can buy a chip and then try out. And then SoC, then you need a transceiver, then impedance matching, then there is an antenna. So this product is not that complex. If you have a pool of people, then we can sit down and then make this product with your existing simulation tool, with your measurement you have in lab. Even you guys can make a make a product out of it in maybe 3 months of time. And then you have this transceiver in home, and it can communicate with the handheld terminal. Imagine a TNAB person, instead of knocking the door, if he walks in the street, if he could able to get data. For example, this home is like home number 10. Then it says home number 10 is 275.6. Then he goes to next home. If it is 11, then it is like 300 watts. Then 12, it is like 350 watts. So based on that, they can calculate automatic meter reading. But these are some of the examples. The reason why I have this automatic meter reading is like, if there are 54 ways to hack the meter reading. You can stop the meter running but still consume power. Like consider ice factories, windmills, welding companies or welding labor, where they consume like a huge amount of power, but there are so many ways to hack it. So that's why this automatic meter reading becomes so critical. And this reading we can check this on a daily basis. Maybe if we do a mesh network, then we don't need a person to go there. We can check on daily basis. So this is one of the application. The next one is like a wireless tether. This is like one of a very interesting application. For example, consider a car assembly like a Toyota or Honda. So they do car assembly, and each of these regions, right? Like they use tools. This is a cordless tool, so that tool have a wireless capability. In the sense, it can communicate with the server. So if you see here, these three ports are communication, like where you have antennas, and then the instrument itself have wireless feature in it, like a WLAN, and then we have a server. The problem is like in a car assembly environment, what happens is like there is a tool which is being given with a particular torque range, and then this is used only for assembling the tires. Let me give an example. So this is the area where it is used for assembling tire, but the same tool should not be used in some other region. Like if you see here, there is a cross mark which says that this tool belongs to this area, and if it goes out of this area, for example this yellow region, it should disable by itself wirelessly. So so these kind of things are being there in industry, and it is based on received signal strength. For example, if you see this tool, right, this tool is here, it is closer to this antenna, and then it is somewhat closer to this antenna. For example, when this tool moves further and further and further, when it goes here, then these antennas RSSI will be higher, but we have that in the server that this tool should not be closer to this. So it sends an information, says that disable yourself. That's why it will turn off by itself. Even the employee, when he tries to use this in this region, it will not turn on. So this is so sophisticated, and it is so, it looks simple on this slide, but we need to consider antenna design. We need to consider other metal objects. We need to rely on received signal strength, and it changes with the temperature. It changes with human presence, and so many things are associated to it. So this is called a tethering. Tethering is like tying to something. So this is one of the industrial application. The next one is like wireless home audio system. So pretty much you can control your entire home using wireless. And next one is wireless lighting and monitoring. For example, we have lamp post. In that lamp post, we can have a sensor which senses lightning, and then we add a GPS to it so that we know what location the lightning is stronger, and it gets so that it have a sensor, then it have a GPS, then it will have a transceiver. The transceiver will communicate to the controller saying that lightning is so high. Then the server or controller can send back a information, say that turn off the supply in this lightning. So that's how this turn off the supply in the light light lamp. So this way you can this way the wireless can monitor as well as control it. This is one of the example, and these are some of the companies of interest. The reason I listed them is like when we come across many companies in life, maybe we don't think what they do exactly. We don't understand why they exist, and and that's the reason, like these are the companies which are RF companies which are located at Chennai right now. Like a Data Patterns is one, HCL is other one, Qualcomm, we have a presence there in Chennai, Microchip, Nokia, Foxconn, Astra Microwave Products, L&T, Wipro, Honeywell. The reason I listed them is like this should become like a topic of discussion when you are on the way to the college, and then if you see Honeywell, then if you have interest, then you look into their portfolio, like what they have, what products they make. And for example, you are so interested in a wireless design, then you will be following them what they are doing, and then that gives you an advantage when you face them, when you do core interview. More you know about the product, more you know about what they are doing, it will help you with with confidence, and it will enable you to perform better. The next one is on the simulation tools. I believe you guys have ANSYS HFSS. Similar thing is like some of the key areas of computer aided design is like the beauty of uh, simulation tool is like we don't need to invest anything other than just our time. If you have any particular project in mind, maybe 4 or 5 of you can sit together and then maybe think about, okay, let me make a wireless product. Then comes the circuit design. What are the components you need? You need a amplifier, you need a you need a mixer, then you need a coupler, then you need an antenna. So that comes in the circuit. Then you make a system out of it. What is the whole system will look like. Once you make system, then you can do a electromagnetic simulation. So pretty much you can send a tone and then measure, and then you will do a impedance mapping. Then you do analysis, synthesizers, optimization, and then statistical techniques is like how much variation if I do 1,000 times, 10,000 times, and then performing circuit level and physical circuit layout level designs. So these are things you can do without any investment and still make a virtual product. These are some of the blessings you guys have in the lab, but you can use those. So I'll give you one more example here. So this is a known circuit, and taking a known circuit from POSAR and then doing a circuit analysis, you will get a known response. So this is circuit analysis, you get that. But but the second one is like this is your desired response. You want your S11 to be like this, and then the challenge will be like find a network which can provide this response. That's called a synthesizers. After circuit analysis and synthesizers, then you go into analysis to optimization and vice versa. So that's how they make a product. And the next one is like this is ADS or a example from an advanced design system, which is from Keysight, but it can be done with any any simulation tool. For example, if you see here, this Monte Carlo analysis is like if we have a parameter measured and then you want to know the distribution. For example, Nokia phone, they'll be making millions of Nokia phones. So they want to confirm on how much variation it can have. So those kind of things can be done using the simulation tool. And this is one of the example for bandpass filter. So this is your layout. This is a electromagnetic simulation. Input here, output here, and you can pretty much show the simulated result. Once you are happy with this simulation result, you can go for fabrication. That's what each companies are doing. The next one is like, as I told before, this is like a system level simulation on the schematic window. You want to make a product, and then you do a system level simulation on the schematic window. And this is one we discussed before. When we make a statistical thing, if I make millions of products, what will be the variation of S31 or S21, how much it will vary, and this is my frequency of interest. So this distribution will help them to optimize the product. Making a product once is easier, but making million product consistently with the same performance is so difficult. That's why we get the advantage using these kind of simulations. And yeah, that's all on the simulation. Feel free to use your simulation tool. Reach out to application engineers. There will be videos on YouTube. There will be tons of application notes. Take it as a small mini project, and then try it out something which you are not done. That will make life very interesting. Next one is like, yeah, think about this. On the left hand side, how most of them are like, still it provides some breeze air, but these are like man-made, or I would say mechanical. On the other side, we have like the fans which are like more electrical. So this is one of the example which we are going to discuss. ESA versus MSA means ESA is like electronically steerable antenna, and then versus MSA is like mechanically steerable antenna. This is one of a classical example of a radar system. If you see in a Chennai airport, you'll be seeing seeing an antenna system which will be rotating all the time. So that's like a mechanically steerable antenna, but that can be done electronically as well. Um, so, so for example, if you see here, these are um, some of the targets which are flying here, and this is another one which is observing. So it can electronically steer a beam from this. What is the beam? I'll show you in the next slide. So this is target one, and it can go to target this one, which is 100 degrees apart in milliseconds time. See, to jump the antenna beam from one to another two targets specified by 100 degrees, a mechanically steerable antenna will roughly take a second, but an electronically steerable will do that in less than a millisecond. So it can jump in any angles with electronically steerable. And this one is like a illumination control, and since it takes very less time in milliseconds, so you can have a multi-target handling capability and very high radiated power. um, the next one is, this is a typical TR model which will have a digital phase shifter. This phase shifter is responsible for a beam to be in a particular angle, and alternator is responsible for how much the power we are transmitting. And we have TR switch, um, driver plus power amplifier, duplexer, coupler. So if you are good PA designer, and then you don't need to do anything else in life, you can be PA designer for lifelong. Still, you will be making so many PAs day in day out, because as I explained in the butterfly theory, every day there is a new challenge, new technology, new standard, then we need a new design. So we don't need to do so many things. Maybe we can just do one thing, like into more deep down concentration. Like you can pick any one of your liking, and then you can do one of it. And this one is like designing a patch antenna array. So this is a microstrip patch. Since you guys have antenna on, I believe it's a unit 3, so I added this slide. So this is a patch antenna, which will be like S11 response will be like this. And then this is how you started, then you optimize it. You see the return loss becomes much better. Before it was minus 4.5, then it becomes like minus 21.07. Then you could see here directivity gain. So this have a 7.2 dB of gain. This antenna you can design. It takes like, you go to your lab at 9 a.m. You spend 3-4 hours. You will get this antenna designed in 3 hours. But you need to do the homework of what kind of connector, what kind of material, what is your frequency, all those. Then this is building patch array. So that one component is used to make 16 of them. This is a 4x4 array, and this is a 3D view of the antenna, and this is how the radiation pattern will be. If you see here, the gain is like 18.34 dB, whereas the single element gain was like that's close to 6 dB. So this is how the combined main lobe will be. These are the side lobes. The next one is like, this is a combined TR model system with the antenna array. And so you have a nonlinear simulation, and then linear simulation, and then it goes to 16-way power divider, because we have 16 elements. So then it goes to digital phase shifter, TR model. There are 16 TR models you could see here. This is the TR model which I shown in the picture, and you could see the antenna. Here is the orientation, 80 degrees, 100 degrees, then it comes to 60, 40. This is how electronically we are steering. We no need to mechanically rotate it. The same antenna beam width can be rotated like this. So I just added this animation. I hope you guys liked it. The next one is like some of the antenna designs. This is like omnidirectional antennas like dipole, inverted F antenna. This is an inverted F antenna. And then microstrip array antennas. This one, this one, this one, all are like microstrip array antennas. And then we might need a dual band antenna. For example, you have GSM, CDMA, and also you have Bluetooth, Wi-Fi in your smartphone. Then you might need an antenna which can cover all the bands, or it can be smart antennas which can be reconfigurable. Then reader antennas for RFID application, conformal antennas, fractal antennas, then Vivaldi antennas. So as I said before, like if you are adamant about doing one thing and you can do it, if you do it rightly, you don't need to do anything else. You can pick a area of interest, scope of interest, and then you can have a life out of it. And this is some of the references I added for people who are interested, like a practical RF circuit design for modern wireless system. This is slightly out of what you have, but this is more like sometimes theoretically we learn, but this one is like theoretically you learn and also you will find what are the limitations when you go to practical, and it will have both like theory as well as practical. So first volume is like passive circuits and systems. Second volume is like active circuits and systems. Like a passive is like your combiner, power divider, circulators. Active circuits is like a low noise amplifier, power amplifier, mixers. So this is very interesting book. If you like it, then maybe you can have this book. And here comes the conclusion. I'm just 10 minutes away. Yeah. Conclusion, last but not least, develop your professional network. The reason I say professional network is like we have network and we have so many groups in WhatsApp which discuss about day-to-day life. It could be IPL, it could be Big Boss, or it could be COVID-19, whatever it is. Similarly, have a network which can talk about your career. You know, people who listen to you, talk to you, have your LinkedIn profile, reach out to people, reach out to HR, reach out to companies, learn from them what companies are doing, what are their products, what they need, like what is the role of a program manager, what is the role of a antenna designer, what is the role of a software engineer, and then align yourself what you want to be. For example, somebody wants to be in a software engineer, then there will be some of your seniors who will be already working in a software company like TCS, Wipro, Infosys. Just call them and then ask like how things are, how is your day-to-day life, what is the best, like what is challenging you, what is stressful, what you could have done differently in college. So those kind of feedbacks will make you a better person. So visualize which domain you want to work and prepare for the same. As I said multiple times, like we don't need to do multiple things. You can pick the right thing which you want, and then you can work on it. For example, like it could be a simple thing, like all humans in the world can run, but if you consider Usain Bolt, he did not do anything else other than running, and he made a life out of it. So same thing applicable for engineers as well. And if you pick a topic and then stay with the topic, and then you will find way, and you can find a life out of it. Who knows, you might make a company out of it as well. So so one thing which I would recommend is being a student, and then you must know yourself. If for example, if you start something because somebody else is doing, it will be like a false start, and then you stop it at some point. So I would say learn about you, like what you want to be, like visualize. Maybe you want to be a CEO, or you want to be a software engineer, or you want to be a wireless designer, or you want to make a better phone, or you want to make anything. Think, talk to yourself, identify who you are and what you are, and then put effort into it. That's all I want to say. Then thank you. One last thing, if you I had shared my email ID, so feel free to reach to me at any point. most likely in 1 or 2 days, I will reply. So I make it as a commitment. If you guys have meaningful questions, and then if you want to reach out to me, feel free to reach out. I have replied yesterday. That's the reason I replied. So you have my email ID, and then if you have questions, if you feel like I can help you, definitely please reach out to me. Hey Ramesh. Yeah.
Is available. Before going to have further, one query asked by our participant, Dr. N.
Yeah, go ahead.
Subhashini. The question is, where do we use RF sensor specifically, and in what way it is advantageous in RF design?
So, as I said, sensor networks, right? For example, there is a shopping mall. Shopping mall have 1,000 parkings. So each parking can have a wireless sensor. So the sensor will detect if a car is parked or not, if a motorbike is parked or not. Then the sensor sends that if it is occupied or not occupied, and sensor can send a information to the controller, and controller says there is a parking available on 10th floor, row number 9, and location is 10. So wireless sensor is being used in I would say it's part of our life. Think about maybe one more example is like um, manufacturing industries. So they want to measure the pressure every day. So they rely on the sensors. Even it is being used in the cars, like a tire pressure monitoring sense system, which is like it detects how much psi. If it drops below 30, then it shows up in your dashboard. So sensor is, you cannot imagine a life without sensor or without wireless.
Thank you. Dear students, if you have any query, you can unmute and you can talk with our Mr. Alagarasan towards wireless aspect with RF also. The question may be from your aspect. Don't think about it may be a realizable or it may be a correct one or not. It's a secondary.
Yeah. So feel free to ask. Like I don't have any concerns.
Yes. Because once we are going to ask, then only we can know where and then how we can become. The next step will be easier towards the particular expectation from the industry after completing our graduation or post graduation in our core domain. Okay, I will do one thing, Mr. Alagarasan.
Yeah.
If they have any query, and then I may ask, or I can share your email ID as well as your LinkedIn
Yes. Yeah.
profile.
So that's what
Then
I
they
said.
can,
Like.
yeah, because once now they are looking what is happening at industry and what we are expecting at the industry aspect. So they may
Okay.
have query or clarity may require in another some time. So that
Yeah.
time they
Sure.
may contact.
So there
Thank
are
you. Yes.
couple of things, Ramesh. One is that email, and also
Yes.
if you search in LinkedIn Anagarasan Chinnadurai,
Yes.
I can add whoever send a request. I can add to my network.
Yes.
That way, it's an ongoing process. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I would like to hand over the session to Mrs. R. Brinda.
Yes, Pa, am I audible?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, Pa. I'm R. Brinda, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, SRM Vallimi Engineering College. I would like to present a vote of thanks for today's event. I extend my sincere thanks to our management, principal, vice principal, and HOD ma'am for encouraging us to conduct this event. My heartfelt thanks to our resource person, Mr. Alagarasan Chinnadurai, RF Engineering Manager, Qualcomm, for accepting our invitation and enlightening us with today's wonderful presentation on RF and future wireless communication. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time with us. We really had a very wonderful session and it was very much informative. And especially as a faculty, I feel proud being an electronics and communication engineering field person. And I would now motivate all my students also, giving the importance with all your presentation and information. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah,
I thank
welcome.
all the thank you, sir. I thank all the participants for showing interest in registering and attending our event and for making it a wonderful one. I thank Dr. Ramesh for his splendid support as a coordinator of the event. Thank you, Ramesh, sir. Thank you. Thank you all once again. The feedback link is posted in the chat box. So kindly please submit your valuable suggestions. I thank once again everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Yeah.
R. Brinda, ma'am. Thank you.